Take your seats, please. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor and privilege to present to you the Honorable City Mayor Pablo Yves Dumlao II to deliver the 2023 State of the Local Governance Report.
Thank you very much, Honorable Vice Mayor, and to the members of the Sangguniang Panglungsod, to everybody here, taas-taas ra balado din na speech, and iban makatuyo, pukaon na kamo. To our honored guests, our ever supportive and active Congressman, Honorable Robert Smith Ace Barbers, our Governor of the Province of Surigao del Norte, Honorable Robert Lyndon S. Barbers, and all the honorable members of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, our City Vice Mayor, our ground commander for today's event, Honorable Vice Mayor Alfonso S. Casura, and all the honorable members, our partners of the Sangguniang Panglungsod, Marazao na hapon sa atin tanan. All the municipal mayors who are here with us and their members of the Sangguniang Bayan, punong barangays of the 54 barangays of the city, heads and employees of the national government agencies, department of heads of the city and the province, city and provincial employees, representatives of civil society organizations, and the private sector, my family, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is truly an honor and privilege to stand before you today for the first time to report on the accomplishments, plans, and programs and the general state of our local governance as of last calendar year 2022. Of course, the first half is the last 6 months of the previous administration, and the second half is the performance of the first 6 months of the city of Surigao under my administration. As a matter of tradition and in compliance to the annual reporting requirements, I will be reporting the full year performance of the city-based accomplishment of 2022 and the highlights that we have done in the first year of my administration. I will be reporting today the results of our sustained effort towards bringing about significant improvements as we all joined hands for the pursuit of development of our city. This is a product not just the sole efforts of the city government and its departments, but also the contributions made by our strengthened cooperation with the various national government agencies, the private sector, and the civil society, professional organizations, our counterparts in the barangays, and the province, and all those who continuously put the heart the development of our beloved Surigao City. Let me start my report on the aspect of administrative government. Foremost is the local legislation. The Sangguniang Panglungsod under the leadership of City Vice Mayor Alfonso S. Casura conducted 45 regular and 8 special sessions in 2022. There were 18 ordinances, and among them, the key local legislations passed, including the establishment of the Persons with Disability Affairs Office. The ordinance providing for the increase in the wages of our job order employees, and the amendment on the provision of our annual trade fair. We also have the ordinance establishing the community-based drug rehabilitation and aftercare program, which is the next level of our aftercare services and support to our drug personalities. The ordinance adjusting our tricycle fares to make it responsive to the series of increases in our fuel prices and the prohibition of drone operations within the vicinity of our jail facilities. Our Sangguniang Panglungsod is our key partner in all our endeavors, and they were never remiss in the performance of their duties, most especially in providing for key legislative and policy support to the initiatives and undertakings of the executive department. Let us give our legislators a warm round of applause, please. In terms of development planning, we continue to subscribe the established and mandated procedures and even make improvements in our planning, investment programming, and budgeting process. First is we reorganize and convene the City Development Council together with the other local special bodies, councils, and committees for the current term. The status of our development plans and the future thrust or directions were discussed and spelled out, paving the way for the formulation of our executive legislative agenda for 2022 and 2025, which was held of August last year in Davao City. I would like to thank the members of the SP and our department heads for their active support and participation. Our ELA was adopted by Sangguniang Panglungsod under Resolution Number 47, Series of 2023. All further plans, projects, and programs will be anchored on the ELA of this administration. The number of civil society, private sector professional, and socio-civic organizations who have heeded our call for accreditation also increased to number 55, the highest so far to the previous 3-year periods beginning in 2010. For our human resource development and management, we sustain our adherence to the prescribed guidelines and mandates of the Civil Service Commission. We fully implemented the Prime, HRM, and PRAISE programs, among others. Loyalty awards and incentives were given all, as well as the CNA benefits. Let us proceed to the presentation of our fiscal administration performance. We have sustained and even introduced improvements in our efforts in collecting revenues, with our total income in 2022 reaching to 1.44 billion pesos. This is a high increase of almost 36% from the income of the preceding period. Our income from local sources, on the other hand, have reached 292 million in 2022, an increase of 25% from 2011. This is high compared to the previous period's increase of around 4%. The bulk of our local income comes from the real property taxes, accounting to 25%, followed by income from business tax 21%, special education tax 20%, regulatory fees around 14%, business and service income of 8%, other taxes 5%, and economic enterprise at 5%. For the year 2022, we have collected an increase of real property tax, an increase to 175% from the previous year. For social development services, allow me to present the area on education. In 2022, the city government allotted a total of more than 74 million pesos from the Special Education Fund, inclusive of the unexpended balance of around 13 million in 2021 to support the education services in the city, including the payment and honorarium of our 40 school board teachers, 55 non-teaching staff, and 10 child development workers. As the year-end benefits, an additional honorarium of 12,000 pesos was granted to all school board teachers and child development workers. I'm very thankful to our RD Ines Asuncion of DepEd, whom I met earlier, and just today he announced the donation of a medical dental bus for the use of our schools, dental health for the schools in Surigao City. Looking at the data for the last 3 years, we have recorded surpluses of 17 million in 2020, 13 million in 2021, and a high of 14 million in 2022. These surpluses were reappropriated to meet the pressing post-audit needs of projects, activities, and other interventions that is intended to make further improvement in our schools, in the basic education services. We would like to congratulate DepEd for the several winners in 2023 Regional Schools Press Conference. We have sustained the implementation of the City Scholarship Program. The program is currently supporting 514 indigent but deserving students. The operation of our Livelihood Training and Productivity Center remain in the forefront of our efforts in promoting technical vocational education. In 2022, 494 trainees graduated from various programs, and 403 of them successfully passed the TESDA certification. We would like to thank TESDA for continuously supporting us and extending scholarship funds to various TVET programs, providers in the city, amounting to no less than 4.8 million pesos in 2022. And just the other day, I would like to announce that we have inaugurated the LTPC Extension School in Barangay Cagniog, which will serve construction-related courses and that will serve the needs of construction services here in Surigao City. I would like to congratulate the men and women of the LTPC. On health services, the city achieved more than the target of deliveries being handled by skilled health professionals. This is higher than the previous accomplishment of 96% and higher than the national target of 90%. After COVID, taghan ng anak. The percentage of fully immunized children in the city is 76% in 2022. This was attributed to the threat of COVID and reassignment of healthcare workers in COVID vaccination activities. Furthermore, after the onslaught of Typhoon Odette in December in 2021, higher priorities was given to the provision of food and shelter and immunization activities temporarily took a back seat. For our ongoing fight against COVID, we had a comeback campaign on immunization. It is with great pleasure to announce that we have surpassed the minimum 70% population coverage requirement for Surigao City. More than the 68% and our senior citizens are already fully vaccinated, and it is good to note that most of the active working ages of 18 to 59 years old are already 96% vaccinated. We owe this to the relentless efforts of our local health personnel and the cooperation of our partners in the national government, the Department of Health, the Philippine National Police, the Bureau of Fire Protection, Department of Social Welfare and Development, the Department of Education, and the Barangay LGUs, and the other non-government organizations like the Rotary Clubs, the OSCA, and the Philippine National Red Cross, among others, for this achievement we have in our immunization. To make further improvements in our health services, we were able to provide the availability of 6 doctors, 1 for each health district, allowing medical consultation in every district health center in the city. We also have now sufficient supply of medicines. And we were the second place for the city category in the region in terms of administration of COVID booster doses. To further boost our capabilities, we will be establishing 2 super rural health unit facilities. With funding support of the Department of Health, these super health centers will be established in the barangays of Luna and Barangay Cagniog. We have already made our groundbreaking ceremonies and the respective budget is already approved and underway.
Papasalamatan usab kami sa pagkakaroon mas daghan na jud stocks nga tambay sa among health center. Sama sa mga maintenance sa katigulangan, sama sa lusartan, ang lodipin. Salamat gajud sa walay puwas na pagsuporta kanamo. Ilabi na akong related sa health service.
Sa maintenance, mga lodipin, para sa high blood, sa metformin, para sa taas ng sugar. Salamat kayo nga libre para din sa among mga katawan. Salamat, Mayor! Salamat.
We also have to address the plight of our mentally challenged individuals, which has been endangering not only themselves, but the general public as well. If we continue to tolerate their presence roaming our city streets and other public areas, in this, as a stopgap measure, Surigao City has established a temporary shelter for them to be provided with basic care, food, clothing, and even medical and psychiatric support. And I also have to thank Vice Mayor Kasura for this initiative. Right from the start of our administration, it was his priority for these challenged persons to be taken care of. And we hope to see in the long run, with the assistance of the Department of Health, we will be able to finally establish a permanent facility for these individuals. For social welfare services, we have sustained and strengthened the various programs to address the welfare of children in need of special protection, out-of-school youth with special needs, socially disadvantaged families, victims of man-made calamities and natural disasters, and the socially disadvantaged poor communities needing our livelihood support. Under the 20% development fund, no less than 7 million pesos in 2022 was budgeted for the rehabilitation of various social welfare facilities damaged by Super Typhoon Odette. We provided cash for work projects for PWDs benefiting 885 persons. Our partnership with DSWD also resulted to the distribution of assistance to 1,561 indigent senior citizens under the unconditional cash transfer and livelihood assistance grants benefiting 799 individuals. Of the 4 programs implemented under the Sustainable Livelihood Programs, all the physical targets, 799 in total, are met with 100% funds disbursed. For the continuing Super Typhoon Odette welfare relief operations, no less than 10,527 received financial assistance and another 41,772 from DSWD's assistance to individuals in crisis situations, and another 116 in beneficiaries received from AICS of our very own fund, as we have established our AICS to provide hinabang to our walk-in indigents. This is also in thanks, of course, from our Congressman Robert Ace Barbers, for the funding of our locally and nationally funded AICS programs. For peace and order, the comparative crime statistics for period 2019 and 2018 to 2022 showed that there was a declining trend in the crime volume from 2020 to 2022 compared to the increasing scenario in the prior 3-year period. Ang mga kriminal na hadlok sa COVID. The recalibrated war against illegal drugs resulted to the arrest of 46 persons with total of 4,419 grams of methamphetamine hydrochloride or shabu and 30 grams of marijuana. 81 cases were filed in court. Ato pasalamatan ato PNP, si Colonel Laude and our COP. Unrelenting police operations, regular conduct of mobile checkpoints in various parts of the city resulted to the arrest, among others, of 103 wanted persons, several crime offenders, 15,224 traffic violators, and 672 curfew violator minors turned over to the Barangay Council for the Protection of Children for disposition. and it is to take with high note and appreciation that our city is now considered insurgency-free since 2022 thanks to the sustained efforts of the NTF-LCAC, especially our security forces led by the 13th Infantry Battalion and the 901st Brigade of the Philippine Army. The Surigao City Fire Station inspected 4,921 buildings and establishments, which covers 100% of the establishments registered at the Business Permits and Licensing Office, although 33 fire incidents were reported during the year, but there were 0 casualties. Ang ato Tatay Digong ng Surigao City, Fire Marshal Abel Dugduban. And of course, his accomplishments to the Surigao City Fire Station personnel received the Medalya ng Papuri during the 49th Fire Service Recognition Day. To support and strengthen further the capabilities of our firefighters, we have facilitated and negotiated from the I-Cortez Development Corporation a donation of 3,000 square meter property for the Bureau of Fire Protection new site for regional office and facilities. For jail management, we have achieved the standard jail guard to inmate population ratio. The most significant support that we have provided to our partner, the BJMP, is the purchase last year and the donation by Yusufrak of a 2-hectare area that will give the city jail the legitimate ownership of the area and carry out further development of its facilities. We spent no less than 16 million pesos for the purchase of this property. In 2022, the Quick Action Response Team responded to a total of 5,591 emergency calls, reflecting to a slight increase of 2.5% compared to the previous year. Our first responders continuing to equip themselves with the necessary technical skills, fitness, and agility capabilities to be able to effectively carry out their various tasks and missions. Under my administration, we will also see to it that the funds are optimally utilized and necessary assets provided to result to the necessary positive impacts among the aforementioned facets of DRR management. Lately, we have augmented our capabilities in seaborne response with the acquisition of 3 units of brand new sea craft to address the needs of the mobility for our 21 island barangays. For housing and urban development, we have our own 44 hectares of land straddling 3 barangays, Barangays Cagniog, Silog, and Balibayon, that we plan to develop into our township project to cater to the socialized housing needs, low cost and economic housing, and open market subdivision. This is not only to address the housing backlog, but it is at the same time a strategic initiative that would decongest the urban center in the long run through the creation of growth nodes. The Arellano Township would initially focus on the development of the remaining portion of the 7 hectares. adjacent to the NHA Surigao Country Homes and the UN IOM Temporary Shelter. Here we are proposing the mid-rise tenement housing under the Pambansang Pabahay para sa Pilipino program or the 4PH. This mid-rise and tenement housing will be the first of its kind that will be implemented here in our city. Personally, ako pasalamatan ang ato DSUD family for assisting us for the MOU signing with the Secretary of the DSUD for this project. The 14 hectares area formally proposed for the cemetery development has already been rezoned for general residential purposes. This will complement the development of an open market subdivision. Another property is the 23 hectares in Barangay Balibayon, which we plan to develop in 7 phases. For this purpose, we have signed the initial agreements through a memorandum of understanding with the Pag-ibig Fund, the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, and initiated talks with prospective private housing and real estate developers. We would like to thank the members of the Sangguniang Panglungsod for readily supporting us and granting the needed authority. Our intent is not only to provide housing and resettlement for formal and informal sectors, but even to our cultural minorities belonging to the Bajau group. Works are underway for our cooperation with the UN Habitat to provide housing for the Bajau community. In cooperation with the DSUD, we will also be providing a Bajau floating school, which I have already discussed earlier with our regional director and city division director for DepEd to support this project, the Bajau Floating School. This will help not only for the education of our Bajau community, but also for the preservation of their culture. For sports development, since July last year, we have organized and hosted, among others, the following events: open shore casting, skateboarding, mountain bike races consisting of the Enduro Challenge and the uphill bike race to Sitio Brazil, night road races, motocross competition, chess tournament with no less than the Grandmaster, our own Eugene Torre, gracing the event. Karatido and competition, triathlon, dart competition, and football tournament. Through the SEF, we have increased the support to the sports program of the Department of Education, which showed great improvement in the results of last regional sports competitions. From rank 11, we placed 5th overall. And we will continue to make further improvements through our planned sports academy under the sports track. Let me now present to you the accomplishments made in pursuit of economic development for our city. For agricultural development, we have almost doubled our local budget in view of the implementation of some devolved functions last year. The 2022 budget of almost 45 million pesos is the highest local budget so far for agricultural development. Our local fund is further augmented with no less than 51 0.2 million from our strong partnership with the Caraga Regional Office of the Department of Agriculture and other national line agencies. Of this assistance from the national government, we have received palay seeds and other farm inputs, hybrid corn seeds, vegetable seeds, other planting materials, and various farm inputs, coconut seedlings, facility development, microcredit assistance, and insurance claims paid by the Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation. To further enhance our initiatives in agricultural development, we organized the first ever Agricultural Development Forum last August 2022 to present to the private sector, together with our provincial governor, the potential investment areas in local agriculture. It should be noted that for so long a time, the Surigao Communal Irrigation Project, which ran from Season to Barangay Mabini and up to Barangay Tugbongon, will finally be rehabilitated. NIA has already committed and approved a funding of no less than 30 million pesos for this project. And with our own LGU, we have counterparted 10 million pesos. Finally, for our farmers, this project is poised to benefit the communities in these subject areas. For fisheries development, we promoted development of our mariculture zones as an investment area, especially in the mariculture park in Barangay Nabago. We have undertaken last year the distribution of 50 units fiberglass fishing boats with engine to help affected fisher folks with the restoration of our main livelihood deer that were destroyed by Super Typhoon Utet and in partnership with Abante Surigao. Another positive development early this year is that the intent of our city, with the support of the Philippine Fisheries Development Authority, to put up a fishing port in our locality. Initial data gathering was completed in May this year. We have also addressed the clamor of lowering of the prices of fish and marine products in the local market and established an open market operation in our fish landing. To date, the present fish landing operations is more or less comparable with other free market trading areas in other cities. These actions eventually led to the bringing down of fish prices in the local market, especially for our commodities like lapu-lapu, from 800 pesos last February to 540 pesos this June. And always nato binabantayan na tamban na 250 sa una, kuman moabot 150 rakan. This is just the first step, and we will continue to implement further improvements to ensure demand-driven and stable supply of fish products. In livestock development, allow me first to give you a picture of our livestock or animal production in the last 5 years. The figures last year shows both a drop in the total offspring produced by AI minus 15%, and by natural breeding, negative 40%. This is a big challenge, not only for the frontline personnel of our city veterinary office, but for all of us consumers, we who knew that our supply of livestock has never reached the level of sufficiency ever to meet the local demands. Haman sad na kada fiesta, kurot man diretso ang baboy, pero minaglitson, di ba? But because of this adversity, this opens up a great opportunity. This is the very reason why this administration has put premium in bringing private investments for the establishment of a breeder farm in the locality. Today, negotiations are underway under with partnership with the Development Bank of the Philippines and with CP Foods Corporation of Thailand for the acquisition of a suitable site for this purpose. Once operational, this will create the necessary catalytic effect to provide enough, if not increased supply to our local livestock industry. Tagkatugusod ni Kagawad Batang Abyan kung himsugba ang mga baboy dito sa Jensan, sa CP Foods. We would also like to acknowledge the private lot donation of 600 square meters in Barangay Luna, again from I. Cortez Realty Development Corporation for the establishment of a milking facility for carabaos. We would be also putting up a biosecurity facility in our borders and again donated by I. Cortez Development of 2,000 square meters. Tourism development and services is one of the priority areas that my administration is bent on giving special focus. We knew that a lot of jobs and income were lost during the pandemic, and our data of tourist arrivals clearly showed that dismal state of the industry. Although we are slowly recovering last year with the arrivals reaching more than 140,000, still this is not even 50% of the average tourist arrivals that we had prior to the COVID pandemic. The data on the most the data on TREs of the accommodation sector further showed the negative impact of the pandemic on the industry, which was further aggravated by the onslaught of Super Typhoon Odette in 2021. We lost 30% of our room supply and a high of 55% of our bed supply from 2019. 20 of the 76 accommodation establishments, mga hotels, we have back in 2019 still remains closed. To further fast-track the recovery of our tourism industry, we have ensured the regular events will be held better with new interventions, camp-ons, and most importantly, rally the private sector to help and support us. Our focus here is to position Surigao as the next events tourism destination in the region. We have sustained and improved the holdings of the following Heritage Month celebration: Sakay-Sakay Abayan Festival, Tilao Food Festival, and our main festival, the Bonok-Bonok Marajao-Carajao Festival. The commemoration of the Battle of Surigao Street, Indigenous Peoples Month, and the Light Up a Tree Festival of Lights. We have also developed package tours clustering our own locations here in the city, mainland, and in our island barangays. With a strategically located booking office in our Luneta Park. And to further strengthen our tourism efforts, we have developed a new promotional video and I would like to share it with you.
Diyan na, tara na, suwi na sa Surigao. You may feel worried from the life's grind every day. Friends, let's take a break to the city blessed with God's glory, the city of culture and island adventures. Ang mga kuweba, katubigan at karagatan sa ating mga matay, nagigiliwan. Diyan na, tara na, suwi na sa Surigao. Maradyaw, karadyaw, makalingaw, the best yung Surigao. Diyan na, karina, laag na sa Surigao. The calmness and serenity can be found in Surigao City. Ang hiya sa katawan, sulundon sa tanan. It's so with the beauty and the city's festivities. Diyan na, tara na, suwi na sa Surigao. Maradyaw, karadyaw, makalingaw, the best yung Surigao. Diyan na, karina, laag na sa Surigao. The calmness and serenity can be found in Surigao City. Your soul will rejoice when you set foot to the city. The history and vibrancy can make your visit extraordinary. Diyan na, tara na, suwi na sa Surigao. Maradyaw, karadyaw, makalingaw, the best yung Surigao. Diyan na, karina, laag na sa Surigao. The calmness and serenity can be found in Surigao City. Diyan na, tara na, suwi na sa Surigao. Maradyaw, karadyaw, makalingaw, the best yung Surigao. Diyan na, karina, laag na sa Surigao. The calmness and serenity can be found in Surigao City. Surigao, 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 Surigao City.
Kagana sa Surigao. Diyan na, parang na. Manorin ka mo sunod sa Surigao, medyo hanggaron si Vice Mayor Kasura kay taglaayan ng diri sa taas. For business and investment promotions, the total of 4,451 business establishments are registered in 2022. Records from the city's BPLO showed that the total gross sales of business establishments in the city reached 14 billion pesos in 2022. This is a 23% increase compared to the recorded sales of the previous period and the highest so far recorded. In terms of new investments, DTI records show that the total business investments have increased by 18% from 303 million in 2021 to 357 million in 2022. The distribution of last year's new capital went to the services sector of more than 75%, trading 21%, manufacturing and processing at 3%, and the production sector at less than 1%. I am also thankful for the Department of Science and Technology for providing no less than 14 million pesos worth of science and technology interventions to 7 enterprises here in the city. Such interventions are crucial for business development and greatly help our budding entrepreneurs acquire equipment, upgrade production technology, and improve production process and product quality, among others. Our environmental management efforts were focused in the management, conservation, and protection of our forest and coastal ecosystems. No less than 300 doyok seedlings, 100 maribohok seedlings, 32 agoho and talisay seedlings, and 2,000 mangrove propagules were planted in various sites of our city. We would like to thank the sustained efforts of our various national agencies, schools, socio-civic organizations, the mining companies, and other volunteers for making these crucial activities a success. To further discourage poaching in our forests, especially our watersheds, we have conducted the preliminary discussions and planning with DENR, the barangays, and other partners for the establishments of eco parks, forest trails, and highland camping areas in Barangay Cagniog and in Sitio Brazil in Barangay Mati, as well as in our Parang-Parang watershed. For our waste management and pollution control services, no less than 31 tons per day of recyclable waste were recovered daily last year through the City Enros Banner Program. Our average volume of residual waste now has gone down, which is now less than 20 tons per day. The operation of our sanitary landfill was recognized during the regional validation of the outstanding solid waste management practices. We would like to thank the DENR Environmental Management Bureau for the grant of our biodegradable waste shredder to enhance our solid waste management efforts. Aside from further improving our domestic waste segregation, collection, and disposal, there is the pressing need for our city to establish, at least in the short term, a temporary holding facility for toxic and hazardous waste.
Power restoration is very important at the Surigao City Sanitary Landfill. In some of the activities that we have at the sanitary landfill uses electricity. Like for example, number 1, we had the aerator pumps. These aerator pumps are used in the wastewater treatment. So that is how important power restoration to us.
I would also like to thank, through the efforts of our City Enro and the office and with Vice Mayor Pons Gasura, if you go to our sanitary landfill, it would be what you would see, one of the cleanest and well-kept sanitary landfills in the area. For infrastructure development, we spent 417 million pesos on 77 projects in 2022. On a year-to-year comparison, there is an increased spending and was noted in the repair of school buildings to 180%. In government facilities, 44%, and water systems and irrigation facilities, an increase of 50%. The bulk of the spending went to roads and bridges, accounting to 49%, and government buildings, 32%. This led us to review, revalidate, and identify new priority projects post-typhoon restoration needs. We proposed a new loan package giving emphasis for the requirements that have to be addressed first. With the funds from the national government under the LGSF SBDP of the DILG, upgrading of farm-to-market roads were undertaken in several barangays. Allow me to present to you the highlights of what we will be pursuing this year and in the years ahead. Our plans and priorities for the coming years as we move forward. Construction, repair, improvement of roads and city streets. We shall continue to allocate funds for the improvement of our city streets and other infrastructure. Among the projects planned and approved by budget, construction of bridge along Gonzales Street connecting Barangay San Juan and Barangay Washington. Improvements of drainage systems along Jimena Street in Barangay Washington and the construction of drainage systems from Espina Nueva to Punta Basin in Barangay Taft. We shall also be developing new arterial roads, especially the grid-type road network development in the urban barangays of Luna, with emphasis on providing several connections to Barangay Cagniog and the Arellano District. Our priority here is the construction and concreting of road from Sitio Tunga-Tunga to Barangay Silok and Barangay Luna. This will also involve the construction of roads connecting Barangay Cagniog with Bernadette Village in Barangay Luna and other bypass roads construction connecting Barangay Cagniog in Memorial Park vicinity to Sitio Toril and Look in Barangay Luna. Grid-type road development is also planned now in the next urban barangay of Barangay Rizal. In the rural areas, we prioritize, among others, the road connecting Sitio Panalsalan and Villamon in Barangay Nabago to the highway, and plans are underway for the road connecting Sitio Canigag, Barangay Mabini, to Barangay Quezon. Improvement of our city boulevard after the devastation wrought by Super Typhoon Odette in our primary urban promenade. We have made the necessary proposal to access no less than 200 million of DRRM funds from the Office of Civil Defense for the rehabilitation and improvement of our city boulevard. The rehabilitation and improvement of the Luneta Park with the damages brought by Super Typhoon Odette, our main park, we have programmed and budget approved new undertakings to restore and rehabilitate our Luneta Park. reopening and reoperations of our primary mineral processing facilities. We shall continue to push and make the necessary presentations with the private industry groups who now hold the ownership of the former Pasemco plant and the Nunok nickel refinery. This is notwithstanding, of course, the protection of our interests, especially for the assets locating the 106 hectares in the Nunok Islands, which we own through a special patent. And of course, we have successfully renegotiated with Primark Properties the PPP contract for the new city public development. We have successfully conducted renegotiation of some of the provisions for the lease contract with Primark Properties, especially pushing for our position of maintaining control and operations of the city public market area. And just the other day, the Sangguniang Panglungsod already passed the resolution authorizing and approving the amended terms of the lease contract with Primark Properties, and our private sector partners has correspondingly modified the project plans and timetable for the implementation. In the coming days, we will be officially signing the new lease contract with Primark Properties. As part of our reforms and our improvements in our internal financial management procedures, we shall now be undertaking the needs-based approach in the preparation of the LGU budget by applying a zero budgeting-based system in all departments in the city of Surigao. Free public Wi-Fi in the island barangays. In cooperation with our local telcos and TRRM fund, we shall also be pursuing the establishment of access points for free public Wi-Fi in the island barangays. This will truly boost communications and access to information for our people in the islands. Continuing rehabilitation and construction of urban and rural public facilities. We have seen the devastation of Super Typhoon Odette in our government facilities, and a lot, those remain in their sorry state as of last year. We have programmed this year the construction and rehabilitation of 92 public facilities. We have 38 projects involving the repair of classrooms, school buildings, other school facilities, and we are also thankful for the support of the Department of Health for projects involving the repair of barangay health stations, totaling to 32 million pesos for 32 barangay health stations. Our main city health office, the polyclinic in Barangay Luna, and the construction of a super health center. We have supplemented with our own funds to cover 62 projects. We have repairs of 8 daycare centers, 29 projects under the roads and bridges, and 8 barangay seawalls and flood control projects. Streetlights and barangay electrification and production support for agriculture development. Among these projects is putting up a mini public market in Barangay Taft and Barangay San Juan. This is an unprecedented spending of more than 437 million pesos for infrastructure development that will be undertaken by the city of Surigao. As of the end of June this year, we have started implementation of no less than 103 projects with a total project cost of around 249 million. Of these, 66 were already completed, amounting to 155 million pesos. Beginning of April this year, we have embarked on our People's Program called the People's Day. The concept is based on the age-old adage, translated to mean that if the people in the barangays cannot go to the city hall to avail of the necessary services, then we will bring the city hall to these people at least once a year. As of June 30 this year, we have held the People's Day in 26 barangays. No less than 13,669 individuals have availed of the numerous services that we offer. The services include medical, dental, laboratory services by our health personnel, veterinary services including surgical castrations, agricultural extension services, especially on provision of vegetable seeds, civil registration services, registrations for social welfare services, legal assistance and consultations, miscellaneous services provided by our partners, the City PNP, the Philippine Army, Family Planning Organization of the Philippines, Optometric Society, the Tingog Party List, and our Rainbow Connection. Ato Rainbow Connection, libre and parlor sa mga kababajihan sa mga barangay. Dato'y mga katiguyangan na pila na katuig, waya na makapaparlor kuman libre through the efforts our Rainbow Connection. Of course, ang PhilHealth through sa registration ng ato e-consulta, the BJMP, and even photocopying and free profile page capture para sa age of Facebook by our PIO. What we hope to achieve here in the long run, that this will become a regular program devoid of politics, institutionalized through a local ordinance and with regular appropriation.
Ang benepisyo ng gobyerno dapat, number 1, walay pinili. Number 2, amoy tayo sa kabarangayan. That is why I'm very happy ako gasod ipahibayon sa tanan. Wayay gamay na barangay, wayay dako na barangay na dili pwede makakuha ng serbisyo gikan sa syudad ng Surigao na amoy ni kuman another People's Day.
Pasalamaton karadyo kami sa mga ahensya usab na naghatag og serbisyo sa lain-lain ng mga ahensya. Labi na ang pinihot na di naka-avail ako sa mga serbisyo sa pagkuha ng ID. So, salamat sa PhilHealth o sa tanan ng mga serbisyo na nahatag ng ini na People's Day. Tungod kay nakasadyon ang mga pagkinahanglan ng mga tao din sa Buenavista na dili ng pagto sa Surigao. So napahatod ba ang serbisyo ng gobyerno sa siyudad ng Surigao din sa lumulupyo ng Barangay Buenavista.
Ako naman napasalamat kay mismo kami kay Lisod man lagi kayo di kami nakabo. Lisod ang pag-transport namin. Pasalamat kami kay inyo na lagod mismo din sa barangay namin. Di na kami kamukanta sa siyudad para makasita o mga kaya pag-isulat. Matubang.
I-enjoy nato ang feeling na ang kalipay ng kabaranggayon ng mga hatag kita ng servisyo. Saon ang butang na dili mapayaran ng ato mga sweldo. Saon ang butang mawala ang ato kahabo na maski hain madako magamay na barangay ang kalipay na nalipay sa nakatabang tao. Kita ang tanan maradyaw ang tadyagan ato diri sa Surigao City. Paningkamutan, paninguhaon nato na tanan barangay, 54 barangays ng Surigao City, mahatagan, makatuan nato sa pamaagi ng People's Day. Grabe ka. Kamu naman sa tini artista. Grabe ka hago ang People's Day, pero grabe na ako kadako napasalamat sa mga tao na nagtabang para sa People's Day. Ladies and gentlemen, we have provided you with the highlights of what we have accomplished so far and what will be next page. Next page. As a first-time politician, ako kasud dako pasalamat every day ang guidance number 1 anato governor kang Governor Lyndon Barbers, kan Congressman Yves Barbers, and ato tatay si Usay Lolo, si Vice Mayor Pons Casora. For all the guidance and wisdom, what we are doing is to mobilize a whole of city approach to address the numerous problems we are facing, creating opportunities and improving the life of every Surigaon. Sa serbisyong pulido sa dekalidad, dili kong delikado. Makabot ragajud nato ang tagtinguha na kalambuan para sa batang Surigao. Sa kuman na panahon, nahimo nato ini tanan sa isa ka tuig tungod sa ato panag-ibad. Sa sunod na mga tuig, ato pagazod ligunon ang ato panaghiusa. We will achieve greater accomplishments far greater than what we have shared today. Mabuhay kitang tanan, mabuhay ang batang Surigaonon, abante Surigao. Thank you very much and a pleasant afternoon to all of us.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pablo Yves Dumlao II. Pagtuaw ng mayo waya dito sa script. The Honorable Councilor Patrick is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for the reinstatement of the rules.
Rules are reinstated.
Mr. Chairman, I move to incorporate and or include the state of the local governance report of the Honorable City Mayor Pablo Yves L. Dumlao II into our journal of proceedings. I so
Any
move.
second? Duly seconded. The state of the local governance report of the Honorable City Mayor Pablo Yves L. Dumlao II is now entered into the Journal of Proceedings.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Before we adjourn, can I have a time to acknowledge the personalities who are here? Ladies and gentlemen, it is really our honor and privilege to have with us today our representative for the 2nd District of the province of Surigao del Norte, the Honorable Robert Yves S. Barbers. We have also with us the young, dashing, and competent provincial governor of the province of Surigao del Norte, the Honorable Robert Lyndon S. Barbers. We will be with you, Governor, in your State of the Province address this coming Monday. The members of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan of this province, thank you so much for coming in. Our barangay officials, kindly stand to be recognized. Thank you very much for coming. Our city department heads and regular employees, the department heads of the provincial government and national line agencies, especially also from the judiciary, the members of the uniformed personnel, the members of the business community, the members of the media, members of our accredited civil society organizations, the members of our academe and the religious sector, our teachers from both public and religious sector, private schools, members of our LGBTQIA+, the Rainbow Connection, who are here, kindly stand to be recognized. Ma'am Doreen Barbers, our senior citizens, members of the Golden Mentors Association, and the members of the Muslim Association of Surigao, the Badja community, our transport sector, the members of our Informal Settlers Association, to all our students, to all our market vendors who are here, to the men and women who work so hard to make this activity. I would like also to recognize my one and only lady, Rosemary A. Kasura, who is here. We all thank you for very much. We have no less than also the Regional Director of the Department of Education who is here to witness this state of the local governance. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming over just for this occasion. To all of you, again, so much, thank you so much for gracing this activity today. God bless to each and every one, and to God always be the glory. The chair now entertains a motion to adjourn this session.
Mr. Chair, I move to adjourn the regular session. Thank you.
Session is hereby adjourned. Please rise for the closing prayer.